Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Supreme Commander 2. It's been a hot minute since I did any videos on this game, but lately I've been really thinking about doing more casts. Yeah, just in general, not just for this game, not just for Executive Assault 2, just in general. There's a huge list of strategy games in my Steam library that I play and regularly enjoy. And I've been thinking long and hard about wanting to get into casting, since I'm not pro enough to participate in tournaments and make entertaining pro-level gameplay in any of these games, simply due to the fact that I play all of them, and therefore I'm not super duper good at any one of them, as Alpha Hex can attest about my my Supreme Commander 2 skills. So I thought maybe the casting was the route to go for me. That seems pretty entertaining, and so today I've got a special treat for you. I've got a 4v4 Supreme Commander 2 match to cast, and we have a pretty stacked team. This is a replay sent in by Alpha Hex himself, so let's go ahead and get into those team introductions, and then let's see what's going on. So, we'll set our game speed to -2 for now while I get these introductions underway. Heading up green, the left side team here, we've got Alpha Hex himself, and he is gonna go, believe, into air. I did briefly look at the beginning of this replay just to make sure it loaded correctly. We'll check back in on strats here in a minute. Alpha Hex going to be leading up the left side team. In his corner with him on this map, we've got Quarrel. Up top, in the top left, we have Marine 1 Core. We'll call him Marine Core. And in the very top position for this team, we've got Ghost. Right side team's going to be Aedo in the purple. His neighbor is going to be Owasi. A.A. Owasi. Owasi? I'm going to say Owasi. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, somebody. Owasi going to be going into land first, it looks like. In their top right position, we've got Vlastav going for research. And we have Fiery Ketchup 520 going into double air. Now, I'm not familiar with too many of the players in here, but Quarrel's name rings familiar. And obviously, Alpha Hex, we know. I was wrong. Alpha Hex is going into double air. Quarrel going into research. Double air for Marine Corps. And double air for Ghost. All air. All air on the left side team, I believe, except for Quarrel, who is, since he's going double research, is probably going to go into Megaliths. Right side team. So we know Alpha Hex. I also know Fiery Ketchup. Fiery Ketchup, skilled player. Not on the exact same level as Alpha Hex as far as I know. However, he was part of the tournament that I took part in a few months ago. And he was an absolute force to be reckoned with. I can't remember if he won, but I think he might have actually won that tournament. Now I can't remember. But he definitely got up towards the final few combatants. Let's speed the game back up. We'll go to +2 for now. Let's look at what these players are going to do. So we've got all research going out for Vlastav, and he's going to just focus in on that triple research spam. As the Illuminate, I would assume that means that he's... what would I go for as 3 research on the Illuminate time? Maybe... Well, on a map like this, air is going to be prevalent, so Darkanites wouldn't work. Maybe Colossi. Maybe I would just hold out, build Harvogs for the anti-air, and hold out for Colossi. This is what I would believe I would do. We've got first land and double research going up for Owasi here, so a mixed build. And we've got 1 air, 1 research going up for Aedo here. These players are already engaging in air dogfights. We've got scouting going over ahead for both teams here. It looks like Aedo in the purple has managed to get a successful scout across the bottom left here of Alpha Hex, so they know that they're going double air. And similarly, it looks like Ghost here in the orange has gotten a successful scout, since this fighter's down on the bottom right. I'm assuming the entire enemy team. So we actually know, all the teams know roughly what they're going up for. Now, I hate to say it, but one player going triple research and everybody else going double air. I honestly, I think that this is the stronger build out of the two teams. The double air on a map like this is just such a large open map. Even if you tried to go triple land factory spam, unfortunately, your anti-air is not going to be able to keep up, most likely, especially with one of these players being UEF, means that their fighters are just a little bit more effective in exchange for not having bombing capabilities. And yep, there we go. We see Alpha Hex going to go after the engineers. Alpha Hex, well known for being good at this strategy. He's going to wipe these engineers out and slow down the expansion rate of his opponents. But whatever this engineer had queued up other than this mass extractor just isn't going to get built. He's going to have to build a new engineer and re-queue. That's going to start taking up the micro time of the opponents, as well as eventually slowing down their economy as well, because now this mass extractor is next on chopping block. Alpha Hex, an absolute force to be reckoned with, but also being supported quite well here by Ghost in the orange. So we've got harassment already going across on the other side. What is this? Looks like we have Aedo going for a commander drop. He's built 2 air transports in exchange for not having pretty much anything else here. He's got 1 air factory and his mass extractors and a couple energy, and that is it. I'm not sure what he's thinking here. Honestly, it wouldn't take a whole lot to deal with this situation. A couple land turrets. As soon as Alpha Hex scouts this, it doesn't look like he's seen it yet because he hasn't pulled these fighters. Anti-air is going to go up immediately. Wow. Okay, so Aedo's going to go ahead and base rush Alpha Hex and harass him in his main base. The enemy team, I believe, Iota's thinking here is that Alpha Hex is kind of the linchpin of the enemy team here on the left. Now, Alpha Hex isn't actually the one in the strongest position here, I don't believe. I believe him and Ghost are pretty tied as far as... Actually, no, Red is probably the strongest Air Force, but Orange and Ghost... Yeah, Orange is Ghost, and Alpha Hex are pretty tied up in terms of air capabilities right now, so they're not at risk of danger from any bombing runs. We do have Cybran Geminis coming across from blue. Fire catch up, looking to harass here now that the Air Forces are distracted. But Alpha Hex can toss up these Illuminate land turrets and deal with this pretty quickly. Red's going to scout what's going up here. We have a land factory going for Aedo. This is a hugely risky play for Aedo. His commander is completely exposed here, and now that Air is aware of the situation, there is no escape. Red's fighters are going to take some losses here in order to shoot down these transports, and now Aedo can no longer evacuate the situation. Alpha Hex moving his commander up, of all things, to help deal with this turret and these factories. And just like that, this push is going to be completely shut down. I believe Aedo was hoping to build mobile missile launchers and shut down the defensive capabilities of Alpha Hex here, but it's just too little, too late. It was not quite fast enough. Alpha Hex caught on a little bit too quickly, trying to throw up long-range point defense with his own commander, but unfortunately, due to the fact that Alpha Hex had plenty of time to set up his own forces here, it's just way too late. Fire catch-ups. Fighters going to come in here and attempt to support, but they are going to get absolutely swarmed by the air forces of Alpha Hex, Ghost, and Red, who is Marine Corps, yes. In the meantime, though, no scouting has been done. They've been forced to deal with this situation down here in the bottom left. So that has pulled the air forces away from the mid, and in exchange, we do have Harvard raiding parties coming across from white here. Who was white? What was his name exactly? Awasi, correct. Okay, so Awasi's going to come in here and attempt to get some damage done on these forward forces of the left side team. Shooting down a factory, deciding to ignore that, scouting the megalith play. So now the right side team is aware that the megaliths are coming out. However, it might be too little too late. Remember, blue here, Quarrel, the light blue, went triple research in the beginning. He built no land forces at all in the beginning. He put all of his effort into the research so that he could get these megaliths up. And now that these megaliths are in fact up, these basic ground forces are not going to stand for it. And with that, Aedo has been defeated. We knew this was coming. Aedo has been taken down by Alpha Hex's defensive turrets, most likely, and the bomber spam of his own. Yeah, it was his own bombers. It looks like it was his bombers that got that final kill. Either that or this turret right here. This turret doesn't seem to be leveled up at all. I know? 6,000 health. 4,000 health. Okay, maybe it was this turret. But either way, Alpha Hex gets the kill over here. Aedo completely disappears. The only positive effect that this has for the right side team is that this means Awasi, who is going all in on the land spam, will be able to take these resources for himself down here in the bottom right, the very bottom position for his team. And doing so means that he will be able to really crank up those Harvog numbers. However, Harvogs are not going to be the answer to these megaliths. These megaliths already being out is a huge problem. There's 2 on the field, more on the way, and that's going to be a big problem for these basic land forces. Unless he can get to teleport rather quickly in order to get in on these megaliths instead of taking the engagement at range. Because the problem with these megaliths, they're actually not that strong up close. Less than 10,000 health. 1,500 per Harvog. Realistically, Harvogs in numbers can deal with a megalith spam, but only if they can get in on it early enough. Teleport is necessary here. Moving in slowly, the megalith can kite by moving backwards and extend the amount of time it has to engage the enemy ground forces at range, which is where it exceeds in its ability. It has light anti-air, but the real danger is the main cannon has decent AoE and range, and the megalith can shoot as far as it can see, so we can't see the intel ranges of these players, but this megalith can see probably out to about here or so. There you go. There you go, even further than I thought. And it's going to start engaging these forces here at range from their defensive position underneath the factory shields. It's going to make it even harder for these forces to push in. So even the right side team actually has a huge numbers advantage at the moment, they have completely lost air control. Air control is an enormous factor on this map. And as you can see, Alpha Hex and Orange have caught fighter bombers galore here. Alpha Hex not worried about contributing to the ground front here because he knows that these megaliths are more than capable of handling it. Megaliths combined with the fighter bomber spam is more than capable of handling this basic ground spam from the right side team. So he's just going to go all in on the 4 airfields, as are his teammates with 3 airfields apiece right now, and scaling their research and economy slowly in order to keep up the upgrades for their bombers, most likely. Not worried about anything else. There is some light anti-air here. Fighters are going to take losses. Fiery catch up in trying to engage these fighters now. Big fight happening here in the top part of the mid, trying to engage all of these fighters. However, the Wasps, the Red Commander, are going to be pretty effective at engaging the Geminis. Even with the Harvog light anti-air, the shields and decoy upgrades out for these Geminis, or excuse me, these Vidubos. That decoys upgrade renders the Harvogs extremely low damage when fighting these units. Extremely low damage. They're going to teleport out. They're going to disengage. Right side team knows that they cannot handle that fight right now. Unfortunately, they just don't have enough air. I hate to say it, but things are not looking too good for the right side team. They may have, technically speaking, a numbers advantage here, but they've already lost one of their teammates. Even with the increased eco for the white commander here, for Owasi, it's just not going to end well, in my opinion. Light harassment here going on in the base. A single hero Harvog attempting to do what he can is going to go down quite quickly. Those we do both. AC-1000s coming up for Marine Corps now. AC-1000s are going to drastically alter the outcome of this game. As it stands currently, the factory AA is plenty to keep these fighter bombers from just moving in and mowing down these enemy bases here. Now, I will say that being said, the economy here for the white commander is pretty vulnerable. So if they had this scouted right now, Alpha Hex or Ghost or both could absolutely just completely demolish the white main base. However, most likely they've assumed that there's anti-air capabilities up. And also these do have teleport, so they could get anti-air over there relatively quickly. And they'd rather hold the mid, and I don't blame them for that at all. But AC-1000s coming out completely changes that story, because they only have one Air Force to deal with, and that is Fiery Ketchup's Geminis. And unfortunately for the right side team, AC-1000s really don't care about Harvogs past a certain point. With fighter support to distract the fire, Harvogs and AC-1000s, it's kind of just not going to go well for the Harvogs. And in terms of base defense, same deal. Anti-air turrets versus suitable numbers of AC-1000s. I would say 5 to 10 AC-1000s could probably just straight up end this game, and given the fact that they have complete and total air superiority, they may not even need to wait for that many. Alpha Hex going to get a scout here and is going to see that they're reliant on the factory AA, and are going to see that they are all in on this Harvog spam right now. We have quite the standoff happening here. Bomb Bouncer now up and ready for Mr. Quarrel here in the light blue, the cyan color. Now this Bomb Bouncer, don't let this thing deceive you. It looks kind of goofy. Its shield mechanic is a bit odd at best. However, the real strength of this Bomb Bouncer is not in the shield, because it'll deflect these bombs from bombers. It'll deflect artillery. But what it will really will mess you up is the detonate ability. Taking damage to the shield charges the Bomb Bouncer, or you can spend energy to charge it manually yourself. And then it has a wide AoE attack to blow up and kill nearby enemy units. And so effectively, this Bomb Bouncer, it has a shield, and then it's effectively a 26,500 health shield in of itself to distract enemy fire that can explode and kill light units extremely effectively. 2 or 3 of these will destroy most early game to mid game ground forces without too much difficulty. However, the teleportation on these Harvogs does cause problems. We have shields coming up finally for these white Harvogs. I'm not sure if those just... For a second there, it looked like those just got purchased, but surely there's no way. Taking this anti-air engagement, the Harvogs attempting to support the fight here for fiery catch-up, but there's just too many. They're going to spread out. We're going to see these Harvogs attempting to deal harassment damage and shut down the production of the top left team here, but there's just not enough. There are far too many bombers, and we have AC-1000s out and doing damage. Look at that. Auto cannons and 50 millimeters. Absolutely tearing these Harvogs to tiny, tiny pieces. This was a really good attempt from Owashi, but unfortunately, it's just not going to get enough done. They killed some mass extractors. They killed a couple factories here and there, but that is realistically a little bit of energy. It looks like for research. Yeah, it looks like some research went down, but realistically, that is going to be it. They're not going to get a whole lot done here. Brown attempting to do the same thing on the bottom left, and once again, sure, he's going to take out some energy and some mass extractors, maybe some research, but at the end of the day, the core production of this team is still online, and it'll be a simple matter to get these rebuilt and implemented. Not to mention that because the bottom left team is pretty much all in on megaliths, with the production being centered in the middle, which they did not shut down due to the fact that megaliths there. This really doesn't matter. It's going to be a simple thing. You know, I will say they did clear out Quarrel's economy here before going down. However, they are going to go down. And Quarrel will just need to send a couple of engineers up here to rebuild his mass extractors and some of his energy, because realistically, that's all he had up here. Everything went into these megaliths, and now he's got them. He's got megaliths and a couple bomb bouncers. That is going to be all he needs. Right side team going really hard into the Harvog spam. More Harvogs up here for Owashi, really trying to make this strategy work, but without air superiority, they're not going to be able to rely on the teleportation, because the megaliths are absolutely going to tear these guys up coming in, and they don't have enough anti-air to deal with the air superiority here. If they could at least render this as a stalemate, they could hold out and let these land forces build up to more experimental units, rather than going into what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Rather than going into 18 land factories, spamming out these Harvogs that are absolutely just going to die. I think I would have rather seen Owashi sacrifice half of these land factories to put back into research and go for Colossi instead, or Aeronomos actually would have also been an okay option. However, it's going to be too little too late. The bombing run combined with the AC-1000 is going to be plenty here to put down Owashi, and with that, his potential is going to disappear into the dust. Yeah, I really think that if Awasi had put some effort into some experimentals here, especially with this double eco here that he had after his teammate Aedo died, they really could have maybe done something. Colossi would have ignored these megaliths almost completely. Combined with some air nomos and fighter spam from Fiery Ketchup, maybe they could have done something against the absolute air superiority of the left side team. If you're going to go all in on the ground, you have to have viable options to deal with this many fighter bomber spams. I mean, we've got quintuple, what's sextuple air production up from Ghost. We've got triple air production plus AC-1000s coming up here from Marine Corps. And Alpha Hex has been on steady 5 to 6 air factories pretty much for the entire game. Another bombing run here is going to take out the Blue Commander. Fiery Ketchup going to go down. AC-1000s dealing with the last of these Harvogs. Brown is the only commander left. There he goes. Vlastov has been destroyed. And that's going to be it. Right side team has been destroyed. Left side team going to take the victory. Guys, let me know what you thought of this replay. What could have right side team done differently, do you think, in order to bring this win back? In my opinion, it was this bottom commander needed to stop focusing so hard on the Harvogs and get some bigger units on the field. Alternatively, they could have simply gone for more air production. The mass land spam on the map this wide and open perhaps was not the best idea. Taking air superiority would have been a viable strategy. Funnily enough, considering how lacking the land forces were for the other side, perhaps all 4 team members on the right side going for air might have given them the win here, because they would have had 1 extra player going air. They could have simply bombed out the megaliths here and just not worried about them too much. And although adapters would have made that a pain, but you know, let me know what you thought, and I hope you guys liked this replay. Let me know what you guys thought of the cast, and if you'd like to see more. And see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.